Hi, everyone. This is your host, Amanda. We are hosting the Dental Assistant Nerds podcast. Thank you for listening. Today, we have a special guest with us, Lindsay from Wisconsin. Lindsay and I met surprisingly, sort of social media wise, back in 2019. We can recap that a little bit. But thank you for joining us, Lindsay. We hope the dental assistant community loves listening to guests, our stories behind a little bit about where we were in our dental assistant career and kind of where we've gotten to. So, Lindsay, I'll go ahead and give it to you and let you introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Lindsay. I am from Central Wisconsin. I've been in dentistry for about 15 years. I started back in 2010. So I've been around the block for a while, and I first started right at the front desk of the practice. So you'd walk in, you'd see me. I was right in the fire zone. Uh, I love it. I love dentistry. I don't really see myself doing anything different at this point in time. I've kind of found my home here, and I've done a whole lot of different things in the dental field. So I'm excited to talk more about that and tell you guys more about some of the opportunities that lie outside of admin and clinical in the office opportunities. I am a very proud mama of two babies. I have a 5-year-old and an 8-year-old, so kindergarten and third grade this
Oh,
year.
yes.
Yay!
Sometimes those little backpacks when they get on the bus are like bigger than them.
I
Oh.
know, I know. And she's so excited to school supply shop. Like every time we go to Target, it's like, is it time? Can we do it? And now that stuff is starting to come out, so she's super excited.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a fun phase of life. And I'll
It
have
is.
one school drop off this year. That's going to be life changing. That'll be great.
It is sad, exciting, and great all at the same time. I feel like as a mom, when I take my kids home and then I come home and I think I'm gonna get like X, Y, and Z done, but then all of a sudden it's like 2 o'clock pickup, and I'm like, oh my gosh, where did the day go?
Oh, the days
But
go so fast.
so fast. But those school times are so fun. So that's an exciting moment to look forward to. So, Lindsay, outside of your office, tell us a little bit about your business that you owned for quite a few years.
Yeah. So back when I started in dentistry, I worked for a doctor who had a very entrepreneurial spirit. He was absolutely amazing, and I learned so much from him. The good, the bad, the challenging. We had a lot of success, we had a lot of failure, but we learned a lot together. So back in 2010, he had this idea that he wanted to start some dental assisting schools. So he's like, we can run these right out of the practice. And his motivation behind that was to solve the problem of finding good candidates. He wanted to find good candidates that were trained in the manner that he wanted, and also a manner where he thought if they were sent out into the field, that they would be successful. Because he was working on growing practices. It was a family business. It started with one practice and it kind of exploded to like 6. So the main goal was to kind of solve that problem of finding good clinical dental assistants. So basically, he kind of brought that to me and was like, me and like 2 3 other people. I think there was 4 of us, actually. There was a team of 4 of us, and he's like, all right guys, this is what I want to do, can you figure it out? So we were like, sure.
I guess.
So we started the process of kind of researching how it went, and there was 2 ladies I worked with at that point that were just absolutely instrumental in getting it off the ground and getting it moving. And at that point, I was still kind of I was learning about dentistry still, but I was super curious about what this education piece was. How could we run dental assisting schools out of the practice like that? So I kind of tagged along for the ride on that. And as we grew together and we were able to get the first school approved through the state, and started running these classes, I started getting more and more involved in it. And then it kind of came to a piece several years later where I was a really intricate piece of running these schools. I'd kind of taken over as the student to school contact person. Like if they needed something or they needed someone to give them the info on the program, I was like almost like the product expert. Like I could tell you everything we were going to teach, how we were going to do it, if I thought you'd be great for it, and how you're going to sign up. And I just really took the lead on that. And it was something I loved and continue to love years later. Um, we ran schools with this doctor for, oh gosh, from 2011, I think was our first class, and until 2016. And then our doctor was ready to sell. So he of course came to us first and was like, hey, okay, I'm ready to, I've grown this business. I'm ready to sell it. I have new opportunities that I'm going to go ahead and take here. Would you guys be interested in buying the dental assisting school? So my business,
Like, wait, I'm sorry, me, come
yeah,
again?
yeah, that's exactly how it was. I was like we could do that, like on
Yeah,
our own. You know,
yeah.
it's such a cool thing because you don't realize there's so much more outside of the practice. Yes, the practice is the heart of everything, and the practice is where it all starts, and the collaboration and the learning and the ideas. But it really opened my eyes to the fact that there is other things out there. We can use what we know and we can use the skills we've learned to do other things. So I have a business partner, Bethany. She's a dental hygienist and she was also a dental assistant. So she's gone to school for both. She's absolutely an amazing human and couldn't be a better business partner for me. Um, so we kind of talked about it a little bit. We talked about it with our spouses, and we did it. We did it.
I love how you're like, well, we talked to our spouses and we kind of just finangled. And honestly, of course, that's where John and I were in our business as well. But it's like you get to a point where you're like, well, we're talking about this and it looks like we can go. So we're gonna jump and we're gonna go for it. So yeah, there's, as we know, as a dental assistant, dental hygienist, there's so much knowledge, but there's so many opportunities as well that we can take our knowledge and we don't have to necessarily, we can work in a practice, but the opportunities outside the practice are endless as long as we just keep our mind open and our heart continuously learning with the growth of just the dental career in general. So I love that. I love that that's kind of where that led to where you are. So that's awesome.
Yeah,
So,
it's so fun. It's like you don't know unless you jump. And we talked about it back and forth, and we were like, I don't want to look back at this moment and have this be a what if moment. What if I would have just tried it? What
yeah.
if I would have just done it? So we did it. We jumped in all the way. We took out a loan, bought everything, and now we were locked in because we had a financial commitment, we had a personal commitment, we had a professional commitment, and we were really
It's
for it.
like this just got real. This
Yeah.
just there is there's no turning back there. And it's scary, so I always think of, dental professionals, non-dental professionals that maybe you're listening, to just do it. Just
I agree.
open the coffee shop, just open the flower business, just
Because
you
what's the
know
worst that could happen? So
what
you'll
is the
fail.
worst going to happen?
Well,
you know and
yeah,
as
you'll fail.
business owners, there's certain levels of business owning as well that you mentioned about taking out a loan, that there's some aspects of business that you actually you don't always need a ton of money. I
No.
think looking back is like my childhood. I didn't know really many business owners, but I'm sure even as a teen, to a certain extent, I'm like, oh my gosh, like that person owns their own business. They must be millionaires. We're not millionaires owning businesses. And you don't really need a lot of money to
No.
own and to begin a business. You really don't. So I'm sure we could do another podcast on that. And
Yeah.
we're professionals in our field, but that conversation of just how we can help, please always reach out to us. I'm sure we both are those professional leaders, those professional contacts, like as your dentist, and he saw the value that you could bring to that
Mm-hmm.
school. He saw your heart and soul. He knew that you were going to be the one to continue the love that you put into your students, the value that we put into the students. To have that professional contact, that professional leader that saw that in you is something that, someone, they'll never be able to take that away, in that moment and that growth and that opportunity. So that's wonderful to hear as a dental assistant, front desk personnel, and then it led you to owning your own dental assistant education program. So the opportunities, naturally, as we both know, are endless. We just got to take the chance, which, let's be honest, obviously we both know is so scary.
It is so scary. It's like, boom, this is your livelihood now. So good luck. Don't mess
Yes.
it up.
There is no, you get to a point where there is no backing up. It's I have
Yep.
to make the loan payment, and I also need to bring home some sort of paycheck so I can buy groceries for my family. So we got
Yeah.
to do what we got to do. So a little bit about the school. It also is a little bit untraditional, just as Cornerstone Dental Assistant Academy is. So being accelerated program. So did your students see patients in the practice during the time of going to school, or was it ran on a day that the practice was closed and they were not seeing patients? How did that platform work for you?
Sure. So we actually started out as 10 because there was kind of an evolution of the program after we took over because we really saw a lot of opportunity to change the format of the course. And then when the pandemic hit, we were forced to change the format of the course. So,
Yeah.
but we look back at that and it was the best thing that ever happened to our program, to be 100% honest with you. We started out 10 Saturdays. It was 8 hours in the practice, 8 to 5, and it was on a day that it was closed. So here in Wisconsin, we're able to do a lot of stuff on each other. So,
Okay.
we were able to practice a lot of things. The students would practice on each other. We kept like a 1 to like 4 or 5 teacher to student ratio, just to make sure, because we only have these students for 10 weeks, that they got a really great experience. They got lots of reps, and that they were going to be able to walk into an office and do a limited and a PA right away without any sort of apprehension about it. So that was really one of our big goals, among many other things we want them to be able to do right away, but just their comfort in the office. As the program evolved and we kind of hit that 2021 where we were all forced to face the pandemic and all the changes, we had to change the format of the course. Basically, and I'll tell you, it's a funny story. I had my daughter on March 6th of 2020.
Oh, wow.
And the world shut down on like March 13th. So
Yes.
like right in there. So I remember being home, and this is like another layer of like self-employment where you just do it. I don't know where we find the power within, but we always do. Where we had to turn the program hybrid because we weren't allowed to see each other and we were in the middle of a course. So luckily we were kind of at the tail end of it. So Bethany and I, through FaceTime with my newborn, had to sit there and figure out, okay, what are some platforms we could use? How could we do this? How can we still provide value? And the students too are very understanding. We were very lucky because they knew this was a big, scary thing. The pandemic was a very
Yes.
big, scary. They didn't want to see each other in class either, but they obviously wanted to finish their education. So we turned the program hybrid. So we are the only hybrid dental assisting program in the state of Wisconsin still to this day. So we run it, the first 4 Saturdays are online. So we front load all the lecture material. So we all meet in a digital classroom. We put it all in Google Classroom. It was live lectures. So you're going to get called on. You're expected to be there. You and I have got to see each other.
Yeah.
And then we would meet for the last 6 Saturdays in clinic, and we're doing 8 hours of implementing everything we've learned in the book. So we also required a 4-hour internship. At
Yeah.
least a 4-hour, we called it a job shadow. It's not something that's required in the state of Wisconsin, but we felt, how are you going to put this all together unless you see it in action? So
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so we wanted at least 4 hours of them in a dental practice observing what's going on. And if they're interested in multiple specialties, we wanted them to do multiple shadows. And the cool thing about that is a lot of those offices that they shadowed in scooped up those students if they,
Oh yeah.
which was cool.
Absolutely. To have that base knowledge of coming in as an entry level dental assistant, understanding infection control, understanding how to take an x-ray, understanding just, what that doctor is implementing and why they are doing something just completely changes the platform of the career field, the value of the employee, and having that interest. At least you know that they want to become a dental assistant. At least you know that as an intern, extern, job shadowing, that this is something that they're truly interested in. So continue to help them kind of fall in love with the field and then scoop them up as an employee, and continue their growth and opportunity is huge. So 10 weeks. And as we both know, we understand that an accelerated program, we kind of touch base on this. We know that there's some kickback across the country, across the world to a certain extent, that the accelerated program isn't loved by everybody. And
Mhm.
we understand that. And I'm sure, Lindsay, you value that as well, is that that's okay. That's okay that if, your platform of education, that you have the time to be able to go to a long-term program, or that as a mindset that you learn, and you need more time on learning a skill, then absolutely attend those longer programs within your state. But as we both know, and know that the amount of love and the amount of commitment that we put behind our students, that that short-term program can be very valuable, and it can work. It does work. Not that it can work, it does work.
If it's done
So
right, it works. Yes.
if it's done
Yeah.
right, it works. And also, that I think sometimes people need to be reminded, when you're looking into dental assistant programs across the country, that every every education platform of how it's operated, we are a private licensed school, a college, trade school, or university, as different tiers of education in different states. Uh, some of those business type schools, I know here in PA, you do not have to be a dental assistant in order to teach that dental assistant program. You need a teaching bachelor's degree.
Mhm.
So that's something sometimes that we're always in that sort of keyboard hostility kind of, and it's on social media that, oh my gosh, these are terrible experiences because it's just not long enough in the classroom, or not long enough to really learn anything. Sometimes I think it's due to the fact that you're being taught by someone that doesn't understand the field at all.
Yeah.
So being able to be taught by us, John and myself, and you and Bethany, that you knew the dental knowledge, you knew how the field worked because you were working in it and teaching it all at the same time, brings a whole other level of value to our students. So
Oh, absolutely. And I feel like that was a big driver of why I fell in love with the school and
yes,
why I really got elbows deep in it as soon as I possibly could, because I saw, being part of the admissions process when I first kind of started was it, I really saw these student stories, and the students that came to us wanting to change their careers, wanting to get out of fields where they're working crazy hours, they're not making any money. But these are people that can't commit to Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, or being
right.
wildly adjusting schedules constantly, but they are amazing, amazing people that deserve a chance to do something more. And seeing them come through our program, get these jobs, and then stay in touch with us and say, you know what? It's been 6 years since I've taken the program. I'm still a dental assistant here, and I absolutely love it. Because as we know, dental offices, it's more than just an office. It's like a little family. We're like a little dysfunctional family. And like the
Oh,
best,
just
you know?
dysfunctional is great,
Yeah.
as we both know. I agree, and I'm sure you've had moments too, Lindsay, to where you hand someone their certificate of completion at the end of the program, and they're in tears, I'm
Oh,
in tears,
yes,
because it's truly an opportunity that some people never thought that they would have. Um,
exactly.
and I know, there's this, well, anybody can attend college, everybody can attend a university. Absolutely not. Whether some people are not going to qualify for financial aid, some communities don't have, I live in an area right now that our only college and university in our county is closing down. It's a branch of Penn State. So if you're hearing like on the news that like Penn State branch campuses are closing, I'm in one of those areas. So after that closes, there's nothing within a 45-minute period. So to be able to travel, transportation, or, what you need for a dorm room. So, as we said, being able to attend class 1 day a week still lets us continue life as well.
Yes.
So whether you're a mom and you have a few, a couple of kids, sometimes we're taking care of a loved one. So we can't quit our job at Target in order to go back to college or, get that education. So it is great to be able to just really change someone's life on a different level that I'm sure neither of us saw in our career path to a certain
No,
extent.
not at all. Like the return on investment for the students, nothing brings me more joy than watching them go through this program that is short. It fits their life, it fits their budget, or they figure out a way to make it fit their budget.
Yes. Yeah.
And then they graduate and wow, they've put their foot in the door. I have a lot of students that have gone on to hygiene school after, because they started as dental assistants. They tested the waters. Okay, I love dentistry. Yep, dentistry is something I see I could do. So
Yes.
they're in hygiene school. We've had several. I mean, I could probably count on, I bet we've had close to 15 students that have done that. We also had we've had 2 students that have gone all the way to dental school because they took our course just wanting to test the waters and see if dentistry was even something that they would enjoy. And they did. And they've gone all the way up and they've stayed in touch. They asked us for letters of recommendation for dental school. And for me, like someone that's taken our class like 7 years ago to call or to email me and ask if I would write a letter of recommendation. Yes. 100%
Absolutely.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think like as a podcast listener, if you're, just touching the base on dentistry of your interest, it's, as a short-term program to a certain extent, like what do you have to lose? As we know, to get into hygiene school is pretty vigorous. Sometimes there's wait periods. You're taking prerequisites, and then you have to take an exam sometimes. From that exam, then you might get accepted that year, maybe it'll be the following year or the following year after that. So to go into that dental hygiene program and to dental school with a great base knowledge that an accelerated program can provide you, the feedback of how much more advanced and kind of, let's be honest, of course, dental school is not easy, hygiene school is not easy, but to cushion that blow a little bit with the dental knowledge behind what you're going in with compared to someone that just finished, a biology major, which is difficult, but no dental experience going in, it's the value is unfathomable about what you can do to prepare yourself. So we hope that dental assisting is a career path that has many, many paths. And we are in the career field of, leadership, right? As a dental assistant, we can be a lead dental assistant. We can be, an entry level dental assistant. So, this, as we know in social media, our career field doesn't always get the best rap, right? We have to remind ourselves that we're always going to hear the more of the negative before we're going to hear a positive, right? We're going to give that negative review to that hotel or that dinner experience before we're probably going to leave that positive review. So I think we have to remember that as a dental assistant to career field as well. There's way more good that's happening than in the negative. So
Oh, I agree. Yeah. Those are the people that want to be heard, are the ones that have something to say, we're the ones that are content and happy and things like that are less likely, unless they're asked, to be like, please tell us why, how, what contributed, what are the things. But yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, and this is a professional career, so don't be afraid to ask those professional questions when it comes to, wage negotiation. If you increase your skills of certifications in your state that you're in. Of course, Lindsay and I are in 2 different states, so our state requirements are different. As I grow in my skill sets and my certifications, can we negotiate X wage? But also professional questions as, retirement, paid time off, your paid holidays, Recently, I had to chime in on offices not paying correct overtime pay to dental assistants. So I think of big corporations, maybe Walmart, Google. I've never worked for Walmart and Google, but I'm just going to go on a whim here of a bigger corporation that, those employees can't get away with not paying those correct overtime pay, that we kind of have to stand up for what we know is right professionally and what we respectfully want as a dental assistant in the career field. And how we can make those changes together is by making sure that we're expecting those professional compensations such as return. So I'm sure, Lindsay, you see that in Wisconsin as well.
Oh, definitely. And just having open conversations about that. I don't know how many students I've coached through that about, you have to ask the question because you're not
Yeah.
going to get the answer unless you ask the question. And know your worth and be confident in that. I mean, you're in there, you're doing the thing. You went to school for it. You're worth it. So ask for it because what's the worst that could happen? Again, they say no.
Exactly. And if you don't ask, then why would they?
No.
If you
Yeah.
don't ask, we hear of, oh, I haven't had a raise in 3 years, or I haven't had, an increase of compensation on my 401k, or, maybe there isn't even a 401k, all these avenues. But, well, how did the discussion go the last time you did ask? Did you really, really think through the process of the value that you can bring? Oh, no, I'm too nervous. I'm not going to ask. Well, why would they offer it to you?
Yes. Or ask them, how can we get there? What do I need to do? Then I need a performance improvement plan. Like we've got to figure out a plan to get me there because this is what I want. And this is what's going to keep me happy in this position. And
Yeah.
as dental assistants, I think sometimes people are afraid to have that conversation. And it is scary. Of course it's scary, but just kind of helping coach students through that it's been, I hate to say fun, but I like that kind of stuff. So I am like happy to do it and happy to.
Yeah, and just as human beings, we want that
Mhm.
professional development, right? We want that, we always, we might have certain phases of our life that we're okay where we are now, but that doesn't mean I'm okay in the same space in a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now.
Yeah, everybody
So,
wants to grow. Everybody wants to learn more and grow and
yeah.
just reach their potential. So just climbing that ladder and figuring out what that ladder looks like. And sometimes a lot, the private practices and things like that they don't have the ladder made yet. So empowering yourself and empowering students to create that ladder. Well, if that's what you want, then you write that job description and you pitch that. And you know what? They might love it. And that might be a permanent fixture in your office from now on. So,
Yeah, I love it. You have to take that step out, that you
mhm.
see in your office that X is a problem and it's a repeat problem that, your employees around you keep discussing. Your employer is talking about maybe a repeat at, morning huddle or quarterly staff meetings, things like that. If it's a repeat discussion, then obviously it's an issue. So if you find a way to depict that you can help fix it or at least start um, that snowball of repair of, like you said, writing that job description, or writing, I see so much that so many offices do not have a handbook, and that's
Yes.
definitely necessary in business. As we know, we have both a student catalog. You have to lay out those rules, regulations, what's expected, simple things. I always say, if it's in the handbook and it seems a little bit silly, it's because we've probably experienced it, right, Lindsay?
Mhm. Yes. Oh, definitely.
Yeah, like,
Definitely.
do not sit on the counters as a dental assistant student in the dental practice.
And
Probably
don't
because
bring your
someone
coffee in the operatory, please.
did not bring your coffee in the laboratory. I read a student catalog. This has not happened in our school, but it was in another student catalog, that platform, they had it on their social media or website. Do not lick the counters.
Oh man.
I know. John and I bring that up all the time. Like, don't lick the counter. And we say it, but we say it in a manner that clearly it had to have happened in their school. I don't know why. But as we have all these different realms of personalities and
Yes.
we have all these levels of, some people are okay staying as an entry level dental assistant and they are completely happy where they are and they are doing the
Predictable,
best
safe.
to
Yep.
their, yeah,
Mhm.
they are doing to the best of their ability. And even though we might not see it as the best, it could be the best. And they are just as happy where they are. And that is completely okay. So, and you don't have to be in a leadership position to be a leader.
Oh,
Absolutely
mm-mm.
not. You do not need to be an office manager. You do not need to be a management. You do not need to be a lead dental assistant. You do not. It's not necessary. Leadership does not have to be in your title. It's all going to lead from your actions. So I think of simple things, but not, and so am I discussing things of making sure that you as a dental assistant, that you are doing infection control standards right, even if Sally that's been on the job trained for the last 10 years at your practice and she's doing something wrong and you've tried to instill it the right way, your leadership opportunity is just continue to doing it the right way, teaching it the right way, and hopefully instilling those skills on the correct manner to others in your dental practice. So that can be from the dentist, your office manager, your treatment coordinator, whatever may have you. So keep those skills up.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree. I think setting the example and setting the bar, and people will follow. If they see you doing the right thing for the right reason, they'll follow with. So
Yeah.
that's important.
Think of like your neighbor, you're cutting grass and now the next three neighbors are also cutting grass. So I know
Exactly.
that's you're planting flowers. Now your neighbor across the street is planting flowers. It works in all scopes
Yeah.
of our life. So uh, um, just to touch base, I said I would explain a little bit and introduce how we kind of met along the way. All those years ago, I was, it's kind of how this, Lindsay is why Cornerstone began. Lindsay's my Lindsay from Wisconsin. We've never met in person,
Oh,
but I know that in my heart there is a connection that is unfathomable because I know that John and I would not be where we are if we didn't have that connection with Lindsay back in 2019. I was posting on our social media that we were hiring pretty regularly, and Lindsay messaged and said, "Why don't you open up a dental assistant school in your office and hire from that dental school?" To fulfill those positions. And I definitely had that moment like Lindsay did when her doctor came to her and said, "Do you want to purchase the program?" I'm like, me? Like I can do this. So
I
you
was like, if
know,
I can do it, you can do it. Trust me. Call me.
I could definitely remember sitting at my dining room table and you and Bethany were traveling somewhere together and having a very lengthy conversation over the phone of just how this potentially could work. And it has worked. So we had our Department of Education meeting March. When was your daughter's born? March 6th, you said. We went to
Yeah.
the Department of Ed March 4th, and then COVID shut down March 13th. So that was March 4th of 2020 when we started the process of approval in the state of Pennsylvania to get our school approved. So if you're listening and you're thinking as a dental assistant, a dental personnel, or a dentist that you need a school in your practice, of course, you have two professional contacts right here that can help you on your way. And just know that if you want something different, you can create something different. And that risk is scary, but in the end, it is completely, completely worth it. And it might be for your season now, and 5, 6, 10 years from now, it could be a season for somebody else. So go ahead and just take that chance, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I 100% agree with you on that. I feel
Yeah,
like if there's a need for it and you can solve it, do it. I mean, there's nobody more capable than you. You know what
I
you're
love it.
doing, dentistry, do it. Yep, just
Yes,
do it. That's a big lesson I learned working with the doctor we bought the school from is he would open and close businesses like he'd just try stuff out. And it was so cool because you think a business owner, oh my goodness, that's like I could never do that. I could never do that. And just being shown that that was possible was just one of the greatest lessons I've ever learned in life is that I am capable of anything I want to do. And so are many of the dental assistants in our field are more capable of, if you need a change from clinical, if you are looking to do something different, if there's a problem that you see over and over and over again in the field, you might have the solution within you and you could be the one that would fix that or would be able to find the solution.
absolutely. So continue to give yourself that value as you dental assistants are listening. So,
Yeah.
well, Lindsay and I are talkers. We could probably talk the next few hours, but Lindsay, I thank you for joining us today on the Dental Assistant Nerds podcast. I love seeing, of course, your growth and your change in your seasons of life, and I'm sure we'll continue to also vent about the craziness of business on the side, the
Yeah.
up and down roller coaster. It surely is, but the value behind it is very strong. So thank you, Lindsay, for coming with us today. If you're listening as a podcast listener and you want to be a guest, please reach out to us.
Mhm.
You can email me at cornerstone dental dainstructors@gmail.com. It'll be in the notes of the show. You can reach me by call or text at 412-779-2843. Continue, my friends, to just continue to stand tall, stand out, continue just to continue your knowledge, as dentistry is always changing. But thank you for listening, and get ready for our next show.
Thanks, Amanda.